thank you so much for coming on the show. We know you're really busy.
Yeah, it's no problem. It's great to be on the show, man. Thanks for hitting me up.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. So first, we were curious about the band origin, how things kind of got started, and what the writing and recording process was like for the first album.
Well, when the band first started, it really wasn't even a band per se. It was more like a solo project, I guess. That's what it was intended to be originally. It was just going to be myself and I guess my younger brother, Josh Brown, who actually was our first drummer. The reason why it was going to be a solo project is because I just couldn't find any musicians in the area who wanted to collaborate. So I just figured I would, do my own thing and just try to make things work that way, at least get a little bit of attention and maybe go to another band or something. But I found some other members, which ended up being the first lineup of Enfold Darkness back in 2006, and that was our original lineup with Josh Del Sesto on the vocals, Evian Duro on the bass, and Mike Lowe on the guitar, and my brother Josh Brown on drums. And we did that for a while and released our first album, I guess you could say. I mean, it was more of like a demo, I guess, looking back on it, but Before the Final Reckoning is what it was called. And that's kind of how we got our start. And it was kind of sloppy, it was just like demo type stuff, like really, really rough everything. And we were still establishing our sound. And I think on that stuff, I wrote the majority of the songs. And then later for the album, Our Cursed Rapture, Mike Lowe was one of the guitar players on that album. Me and Mike Lowe wrote, I guess, it was about half and half when it came to that album in terms of the songs. And of course, I've always written all the vocals for the band. So, but yeah, that's pretty much what it is. I've generally written most of the stuff for Enfold Darkness, but other members have contributed as well. For Our Cursed Rapture, I guess me and Mike Lowe wrote the stuff half and half, I'd say.
Recently, you guys have a new singer and a new guitarist. I mean, can you explain how you found them?
Sure. I guess I'll go ahead and take the opportunity to kind of explain what happened with our lineup and with Justin Corser leaving the band and everything. I don't know, Justin just kind of got to the point where he said he didn't want to tour anymore, and we wanted to have our studio lineup to be our touring lineup as well. And so, Justin just didn't really seem like he wanted to tour anymore, like I said. And we had recently held a contest for I don't know if anybody noticed, we had a cover song contest in which we got fans to submit them doing vocals or guitar or whatever, just covering our songs. And our current vocalist, Adrian Perez, he won the contest. And, it wasn't really intentional. We didn't really set up the contest to find a new vocalist. It just kind of worked out like that. So he lives in Chicago, and we found him initially through YouTube. We actually knew about him before we did the contest. And after that point, he won the contest, and we asked him to join us. He came down and kind of tried out one weekend and worked great. And, at the same time, we were in need of a new guitar player because Malcolm Pugh of Inferi, Discreet, and No Living Requiem, he decided to part ways with us. So we got our good friend Elijah Whitehead, a Nashville native, to come and play guitar for us. He had previously gotten experience on the road through touring with Discreet.
So how's the writing been with the new guys? Or do they have any input, or is it still mostly on your shoulders?
No, actually, The most recent song that we released, Layers of the Ascended Masters, that was written by Eli. He wrote that song before he was even in the band, and that was kind of his tryout in a way. We didn't, I guess whenever he joined the band, we didn't bring him in just so we could have that song. In fact, that wasn't, whenever he joined, we didn't even really plan on using it. But one day he offered, we definitely took it because the song was killer, and we felt that it would, fit really well with our sound. Because of that, we're kind of using that sort of route or that sort of theme to write the new album. So yeah, definitely the new members, Eli will definitely have some input on the new album, as well as James Turk, our bass player, he was a former guitar player of ours. So he's going to be helping to write the album, and it's coming along pretty well. We have several songs, maybe 5 or 6 that are in the work right now. I guess we're just trying to take our time with it and make sure that we do everything right.
So let's talk a little bit about the song, The Layers of the Ascended Masters. I mean, can you explain some of the meaning behind the lyrical content of the song?
Sure. For the most part, the biggest theme behind the music or the lyrics is it's pretty personal, but I don't mind sharing it with everybody. I've gone through a pretty trying, I guess, past year or so has been pretty trying for me. Gone through, just got out of a bad relationship, and which sounds very cliche, but that's part of it. And then also, I recently sought treatment for opiate addiction, and so that's been a big struggle in my life recently, and I think a lot of the lyrics kind of reflect that, and it's reflective of me trying to get out of that situation. And I guess that's where the initial inspiration came. But I also, regardless of that, I always try to, whatever the actual message of the music is or theme, I always try to tie everything together with a mythological sort of storyline, I guess you could say. I try to make it like you're actually reading a book, or like you're reading some sort of ancient manuscript or something.
So anyway, after some touring for Our Cursed Rapture, you guys took an extended break, but seems like things are a little bit back on track now. Can you tell us how things have been since things are rolling again?
Yeah, things have been going really well. You're right, we did take an extended hiatus. A lot of people kind of thought that we had disappeared permanently, but no, really we just had to take a break due to financial burdens, and just, we jumped into touring just a little too quick, I think, as a new band, and kind of set us back a little bit. We got into some debt, and we just had to take a little break to get out of that situation. But since we got the call about a year ago from our record label, Sumerian, they hit us up about a year ago asking if we would do another record, and it took us a while to get everything situated, but since we've gotten the new members in the band, things have really started to start rolling better, and everything's panning out, so things are just really looking like they're going in a good direction for us finally.
And that's awesome. I mean, by the sounds of it, definitely things are picking up again. So can we expect any, tours in the future? Will it be a short, small tour, maybe a national-wide tour, if possible, down the road?
Well, for now, until we actually release the album that we're writing, we're not going to be doing many national tours. We're just going to be doing regional ones, I believe. We have one coming up towards the summer in May with some bands that are about to be announced. It's not like a huge tour or anything, but I think it's with bands that are, about the same size as us, and we're going to be kind of touring around the Southeast for a couple of weeks, and, so nothing too huge planned for the moment, but I think that once we actually get this album out, that we're gonna, definitely be on the road for an extended amount of time. So,
Well, that's great to hear. I really hope you guys can get back out there and, spread the gospel of the darkness, as they would say. Speaking of the new material, can you tell us a little bit about how the style has changed musically, and what are some other themes lyrically we could see from some other new songs?
well, I'd say that the content is going to remain largely the same. I think that in general, you're going to see the same sort of lyric structures, as well as the same sort of lyrical themes that we've been going for. Our main goal with the next album is to just kind of take the style that we've developed ever since Our Cursed Rapture and just make it a little bit more refined, and just really establish ourselves as one of the first American, or maybe one of the first in general, technical black metal bands ever to emerge. I'm just, one of the things that I've always wanted to do with Enfold Darkness is just that, is establish ourselves as a technical black metal band. And I think that really might be our calling. It might be what will turn us into an original sound, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but I really don't know too many bands that are doing that, doing the whole, trying to make it technical while straying away from, maybe the death metal aspect, but just focusing more on the black metal aspects as opposed to that.
One question I have for you, a couple questions actually, is, what's the name of the new record coming out for people who don't know, and when would the record be coming out, possibly?
Well, we haven't released the title of the new album quite yet. We do have a title that we are working with, and we're currently shooting for a July release, but it might be more likely that the album will come out sometime in the very early fall. Just really depends on, how quickly we can get these songs out. But again, we're trying to take our time with it, just because, we want to make this a very powerful album for us, and we have to, make sure that we're doing everything right. But yeah, at this moment, I really can't divulge much information when it comes to the actual album title and announce, or the date that it's going to come out and that sort of thing. That's all stuff that's going to be announced within the next couple of months.
All right, great, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on and taking the time out of your day. I know you're super busy. Hopefully we can keep in touch, and we'll definitely be playing lots of Enfold Darkness over the next few months.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, guys. Well, thanks for inviting me on the show, and I appreciate y'all I appreciate y'all's interest for sure. We don't get too many offers for these sort of things, so it's definitely great, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks again.
Thanks a lot, man.